as Mayor of Cape Town and as leader of the caucus in a motion of no confidence. In an interview on SABC News this morning, DA MP Natasha Mazzone said the move was initiated by very serious allegations against De Lille. The motion was brought forward by Councillor Angus Mackenzie and took place by the secret ballot. Said she, what does this mean for the mayor? Well, she now joins us live from our Cape Town studios. A very good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Certainly not an enviable position to be in a mayor. Being rejected by your own party on grounds of very, very serious allegations as expressed by Natasha Mazzone. Why is your party so extremely unhappy with you?
Well, for me it is, and I want South Africans to understand that we are in a very unusual situation that has never happened before to anyone. And the one is that I'm currently before a disciplinary hearing of the party, and instead of waiting for the outcome of the disciplinary hearing to then test those allegations, which they claim to be very serious, and which I want to be tested and open and in the public, they pursue another process after the constitution of the party is being amended to have a so-called recall clause. So while I'm busy with disciplinary hearing, there's also a motion of no confidence. And the question then is that why not wait for the outcome of the disciplinary procedure, like the party has announced on the 14th of January, that they will set aside 60 days to test these allegations, and during those 60 days, no vote of no confidence will take place. But subsequently thereafter, 2 attempts of vote of no confidence were put against me, and so I'm not dragging out the situation. There is this just a rush wanting to get rid of me, and all I am saying, you know, I'm entitled to be subjected to due process. I'm entitled to natural justice. I fought for these rights in our constitution, and I know my rights. So yes, that is where we are. I now have to make a submission to the party's federal executive, which I will do in due course, and I will take it from there.
Essentially, could you talk to us about the contract for the desalination plant and the bid for it?
Just say that again.
Can you talk to us a bit more about the contract for the desalination plant and the bid for it? Could the DA's unhappiness be over the funding from a country overseas for the election next year?
Well, as you know, I've been removed very unceremoniously from the water issues within the city of Cape Town. But at the time when I was there, we received advice from the World Bank and from specialists around the country that, you know, our desalination plan that we have is certainly very ambitious. It will not be working in a short space of time, and it's also very expensive. I then directed the city that instead of pursuing desalination that's going to cost us 6 billion rand, that we pursue, that we go for underground water for aquifers, that were going to cost us at least 1/3 of the desalination. But since my removal from the water, the desalination plants have been put back onto the budget. And I understand that we need to augment our existing water that we have. We certainly can't rely on rainwater anymore. So yes, there is a direct correlation between my removal and also the building of more desalination plants.
Now, you just mentioned earlier that you now have to make your submissions to the federal executive by the close of business next Wednesday, the 2nd of May it is, as to why you should not be fired. Take us through, you know, your personal feelings about that, also considering that Ms. Mazzone is a deputy chairperson of that federal council.
Well, first of all, that I will wait for the official notification from the party as to when I must make my submission to the federal executive. I understand that is next in the process. Once I've done that, the federal executive will consider my representation and then make a decision. and thereafter I'll be given 48 hours in which to resign if they find that they support the motion. So that is what I understand the process to be. But why I am insisting on a due process is because, again today, the Deputy Federal Chair of the DA said serious allegations. They keep on saying serious allegations. Let us test those serious allegations in the open and in the public. Because you know what? I am also hell-bent on clearing my name. I've built up a reputation in this country. And to accuse me of serious allegations, let's proceed with the disciplinary procedures and test those allegations. Why there's a rush? You know, I'm very suspicious that the response to these serious allegations against me, which has not been tested, it's disproportional with this haste, you know, to get rid of me. And so I'm prepared to subject myself to the due process. And I want to say thank you to the thousands of South Africans who have sent me support messages. I really appreciate it. This is not about me. This is about fighting for justice, fighting for fairness, and making sure that we uphold the constitution of this country as far as natural justice is concerned.
To your knowledge, what are those serious allegations?
Well, currently there are 2 charges that are being charged for. The one apparently is that I have influenced the selection panel of that interviewed the previous city manager in 2016. And I apparently had sent an SMS to one of the panel members. Up till today, I've asked for a copy of the SMS. I've asked for the number from where the SMS was sent. And we've asked for the name of the person that has received that SMS. So in the disciplinary hearing, my lawyers can then cross-examine this person. So that is one of the charges. The latest charge, where the party established a separate disciplinary committee and a chairperson, they charged me for interfering in an advertisement that went out for area directors, for instance. Just yesterday before council, because these are internal government business, there was a report presented to council yesterday that found that the mayor had absolutely nothing to do with it. So that's why I want the hearing to be open, so the South Africans can hear my side of these serious allegations against me. So at the moment, I'm facing 2 allegations, and then this third one, of course, I think will fall away now because there's no proof.
And now, you know, should that federal executive go with the motion of no confidence, are you prepared for when the time that the day asks you to resign or dismiss you? Will you resign?
No, not at all, because I cannot resign and then the people of South Africa will think that I'm guilty. You know, my integrity, my reputation has been seriously damaged by all of these allegations, even allegations that cover up corruption. Up till today, I want to see the proof of the corruption that I've covered up. And so these allegations must be tested in an open disciplinary hearing so that I can clear my name. So it's not about prolonging the process, wanting to be there. It is about justice in fairness.
Indeed. Essentially, what recourse do you have at this stage?
Well, you know, I think that there's a lot of predictability in the matter, a lot of subjectivity. I would like to believe that when I go to the federal executive, that I will get a fair hearing. So we will leave it there, and then I will wait for the next process. But in the end, when you have different interpretations of the laws of the country, and we are all equal before the law and equal before the Constitution, you can always turn to the High Court to go and test the different interpretations. And I think that is where this will finally end off.
Speaking of that, do you still have confidence in the DC processes?
I just want to be subjected to them, and that's why I want the DC processes to be open, so that the public and the media can be there. Even Media 24 made an application for the DCs to be open. I don't want to prejudge the process. I'm prepared to subject myself to the process, and if I see any unfairness within the process, I will certainly raise it there and then.
What do you make of the DA's recall clause? Again, citing Natasha Mazzone from this morning's interview that it's not a recall clause, but what she described as an accountability clause.
Well, I don't really know what's the difference, but it is a recall clause based on accountability. But then you need to test accountability. You need to say, Mayor De Lille, on this day you did this, and that is wrong, and that is being tested, and therefore we've lost confidence in you. I am before disciplinary hearing at the moment, and while the disciplinary hearing is not concluded yet, already there's a vote of no confidence, and that's the irregularity as far as I am concerned. I am prepared to become the guinea pig to test this recall clause on behalf of all the other public representatives in the Democratic Alliance, because today it can be me, tomorrow it can be Mayor Herman Mashaba or Mayor Solly Msimang. So it is a good test case where we can find the legal precedent whether this clause is constitutional or not.
Now, you mentioned that you would not resign because that would, somewhat show that you were guilty. Are you then going to be taking this higher, in fact, possibly to the Constitutional Court?
Well, I'm leaving all options open. As I was saying, for me, what is critical, I need to clear my name. And if I have to clear my name through a fair process in our courts, then that is the route that I will go. If I don't get a fair process within the disciplinary hearings of the DA, I will certainly also even there appeal any outcome. So I can see that this is going on. It's not going to be over. I know that the Democratic Alliance is very, very eager to get rid of me as soon as possible. I'm just appealing to all of them. Let us respect the constitution of our country if we are all constitutionals, and let us respect in our constitution the process of natural justice, and let us follow due process to arrive at an outcome. I also want this to be over. It's impacting on my life and my family life, and it's impacting on my work. I've had about 25 meetings in the communities in the past month, and not in one single meeting did any of the community members say to me, Mayor, we've lost confidence in you. And so I continue to serve my communities. That is what I've been elected to do, but I would really like to see a speedy end to this mess that it's become as soon as possible.
Thank you very much for joining us, Patel, Mayor of Patricia De Lille. We're also running our poll here this morning at SABC Newsroom. Do you agree with the outcome of the DA's motion of no confidence against Patricia De Lille in some of the votes that have been coming through? Just over 70% are saying no, 25% are saying yes. Badikala says, at the end of the day, many South Africans do not know what De Lille did precisely. In fact, many of South Africans and citizens in Cape Town don't know. If she's not a saint, it's okay, but the voters have every right to be made clearly aware of her misconduct, and it's very vague. Sibiwe says that clause that was added on the DA constitution was made to kick her out of the organization. Who's next? They need to be careful. And Michael says no, but on the contrary, it's good news for my ANC in the province, because the main reason that the DA won the Western Cape was mainly because of Umama Patricia De Lille bringing in a lot of coloured voters on board via the ID party. And the DA, as well as Helen Zille, will be losing the Western Cape very, very soon. That one coming in from Michael. Kagiso says the DA has demonstrated that they don't want De Lille any longer, hence they are using every mechanism at their disposal to get rid of her. If I was De Lille, I could have long saved myself from embarrassment. This is the DA tendency. They use people and then dump them. Hashtag no confidence. Well, in one of our other top stories this morning, what are your thoughts on Panyaza Lesufi's effigy being hung on a noose? This is the picture, has been doing the rounds on social media. Also getting comment from Panyaza Lesufi this morning mentioning life-threatening threats not only to him and his family. Let's have a look at some of the comments behind that this morning. The first one coming in, it's a racial manifestation in democratic dispensation for his non-racial stance on correcting educational imbalances of apartheid. Luta Continua, MEC. Soroka says not only does the effigy pronounce racism, but they also infringe on the right to his dignity. Mandla says it's very bad acting, and it also reminds us of the past where the apartheid government used to hang black people. Master says this is meant to destruct his excellent service to the people. Maybe we are doing this the wrong way. We need to reverse apartheid for them to experience what we went through by them, and the Rainbow Nation, it can then be realized. It is unfortunate that we've forgotten pretenders.